Namaskar and welcome back to Media Scan, your weekend dose of headlines, controversies and perspectives. Viewers, the Socio-Economic Survey of Bihar was adopted in the Bihar Assembly earlier this week. This is the second tranche of the survey of the caste which had appeared some weeks earlier and which became one of the biggest talking points in the political circles. What are the finer points of this socio-economic survey? What does it tell us about the situation, the economic, the social situation of Bihar? One of the biggest points that stands out from the survey is the fact that Bihar today remains one of the poorest states of the country, lagging behind in almost all the parameters. Why is it so? How far will raising the quota as passed in the assembly help in removing that anomaly? To discuss all this, we have a special panel of guests here with me this evening. Joining us on the show, Dr. Vidyarthi Vikas, a well-known analyst, social scientist. He is associated with the A.N. Sinha Institute of Social Sciences in Patna. Welcome to the show, Dr. Vidyarthi Vikas. Also with us, senior journalist Mukesh Ranjan has been a keen observer and has been writing on the politics of the heartland, Bihar, as well as the neighboring states for a long time. Welcome to the show, Mukesh Ranjan.
Thank you.
Before we start the discussion, a very quick clip on what exactly are the high points of the survey and what it means for the future of the state. Dr. Vikas, you have seen the data and I'm sure I was reading some of the data analysis that you have done yourself. You have been studying Bihar's trajectory for a very long time. Being a social scientist, why do you think the state remains so poor and so backward when all the successive governments who have served Bihar have been claiming to work for social justice is my first question before we come to the finer details of the survey. Dr. Vikas.
Yeah, the state of Bihar has been facing discrimination since 1947. So whosoever in central government not supported properly to the state of Bihar, in terms of if you see the MSP prices, our farmers are not getting minimum support price properly. We have been also faced when we joined, there was Jharkhand and Bihar was jointly, there was many resources, but our resources was exploited by many capitalists and other states also. So hence we are unable to develop our population.
You were saying that Bihar has been discriminated way long from 1947 onwards. And then when Jharkhand was separated from Bihar, the resources also went down substantially. So, I mean, that appears to be, a situation where the intelligentsia of Bihar is trying to pin the blame either on the center or other factors, but, in a way giving a safe passage to the leadership of the state. Shouldn't the state leaders also take some responsibility for the situation, sir?
Yeah, government of Bihar has taken many initiatives in terms of social development. If you see the social development, Bihar turns around very well, and it did very well. But government Bihar, state of Bihar needs special treatment. When you see the data, we started our journey from 1950. But once we see the per capita income of state of Bihar and other special states, state of Bihar per capita income is more than that of other 11 states who has been receiving a special status. True. But during the journey of last 50 years, all the states who got special status their per capita income has been increased. But in this journey, the state of Bihar per capita income decreased. So I think a state like Bihar needs a special package or a special category status.
And the demand for special package has also been a political demand of Nitish Kumar for a long time. But Dr. Vikas, since we are losing a connection with you frequently, I'll put you one quick question very quickly, sir. The Bihar Assembly has pushed for raising the quota right up to 75%, which includes 10% for the EWS as well as the rest of the backward segments. Considering the fact that quota has been implemented for so many decades, when we look at what the results have thrown up in the survey, do you think just raising the data is going to solve the situation at all?
Yeah.
Is this the only, is this the only way out of making Bihar without any relevant and supporting economic activity?
Yeah, it can be helpful. It can be helpful to get the right situation, I think. Once, can we see the data from the Mandal Commission? If we see the Mandal Commission report, do you know, 90% in class 1 job, 90% comes from general category, and other only 2.59% comes from the backward category. If you see, just I collected data from the Ministry of Personal Public Grievance and Pension, and the Government of India just responded in Rajya Sabha that last 5 years recruitment as an IAS, IPS and IFS, if we see the total job in last 5 years, 73% IAS, IPS and IFS selected from the general category. Only 16% comes from OBC category, and only 8% comes from SC category. Only 4% just appointed or selected from ST category. And we know that there is already 27% reservation for OBC category, 15% reservation for SC category, and 7.5%.
Right, right. So I get the point.
It can be helpful.
Yes, please make your point.
Yeah. If we definitely quota system will be helpful. What for quota system? Quota system for admission purpose, and second purpose is the employment purpose in government jobs. When we see and compare the 1990s and at this juncture, then I found that in 1980 or 1990s in Mandal Commission report, there was 2.5% government job. Backward community. But if we see the data of 2020, after the 30 years after, then I found that there is 20% job, 20% government jobs comes under OBC category.
Fine. I get your point.
Has been
so you are saying that quota does help to empower the deprived sections.
Definitely,
and if there is no, we do not have other allied activities so much, government jobs are a great source of empowering them. Mukesh Ranjan, if I may come to you, some very important points have been thrown up by this caste survey. And Dr. Vikas was also hinting at it. The point remains that government jobs will always be limited when there are no subsidiary economic activities, when infrastructure development is limited, investment is very poor, and the market forces are not working, consumption is down, income is down. The problem arises, how much can you empower any section of the society without any economic activity? And perhaps that is why, whether it is slightly less in the upper castes and a little more among the Dalits and the OBC segments, majorly Bihar remains a poor state. So as the Prime Minister has been emphasizing, Garib becomes the biggest caste.
That's true. Garib becomes the biggest caste, as has been asserted by the Prime Minister, particularly following this caste survey which came out. The point always remains to be seen that in Bihar, if the economic activity doesn't expand, only government jobs, even educational institutions are not expanding. You can see the migration taking place from Bihar. Migration of all strata of the society is coming out of Bihar and looking for employment opportunity, or even for education purposes, they are coming out. So the issue is not to give quota for say government jobs and educational. Has there any good institution in Bihar that caters to the highest standard of education in Bihar? So if Bihar government says that I'm giving 75% reservation to different categories, is there a good institute to educate their own population? So far as the government jobs are concerned, government jobs are very limited. So what happens that every economic strata, people belonging to different or every economic strata, they migrate. They migrate as a unskilled laborer, skilled laborers, educated graduate, postgraduates. Everybody is migrating from Bihar. So this, I think, quota is very kind of a symbolic and has some potential to garner votes on the basis of consolidation of different castes and giving them a sense of a kind of a right, a kind of sense of belongingness. But that doesn't give them any kind of respite from their given status, economic and social status in the society.
Fine, fine. I want to throw this question to Dr. Vidyarthi Vikas again. Sir, as Mukesh Ranjan was pointing out just now, there are only so many government jobs you can give, okay? Other than that, the problem remains that when there are no allied economic activities, there is almost no investment, infrastructure is poor, no matter whether they are upper caste population or OBCs or Dalits. This abysmal migration of people from Bihar to other states for work purposes. In fact, Bihar is, notorious for becoming the workforce supplier of the country. So how do you think the government is going to address that? And as Mukesh Ranjan pointed out, when government jobs are so limited, there is a data which shows that one caste, Yadavs, have had the biggest number of share in the government jobs in the past few decades. And yet, they remain one of the poorest segments of the society. So certainly there is a mismatch. Just government jobs without any allied economic activities, any investment, any push to the private sector is not going to help, sir. What do you have to say to that?
Just Mukesh Ranjan said that quota system may be one of the measures to uplift the backward or downtrodden society. That is clear. And one another concern is trickle-down theory, which has not been bugged in India or around the world also. Recently, Thomas Piketty said that, trickle-down effect has refused or not bugged to uplift the downtrodden society. So there is need to work directly to uplift the downtrodden, I think, people. So, but government of Bihar recently has taken many initiatives in terms of agriculture, roadmap, and other micro enterprises. But we accept that there is a limitation of private investment because big companies are not willing to invest in Bihar due to basic infrastructure. So we needs to strengthen the infrastructure, and infrastructure needs a huge investment. And central government is not willing to provide adequate money to create the basic infrastructure like road, electricity, and school education. And recently, a lot of debates in our assembly, Vidhan Sabha Bihar, and many recently Finance Minister of Bihar stated that central government is not providing their due share, that is 60%. So Bihar, state of Bihar is facing financial crunch due to central government.
Fine. Mukesh Ranjan, now this is a valid point coming from Dr. Vidyarthi, because he says that Bihar needs a huge infrastructure push which can only come with heavy investment, but at the same time he is also pinning blame on the center about not giving Bihar its due. Now that is a question to be answered on the political side, but on the social side, Mukesh Ranjan, I would like to say, you know, while quota and reservations are one of the, you know, strongest affirmative action measures that we can try, we have seen the Modi government give a sort of a parallel model. You know, when you look at schemes like Stand Up India, the Swanidhi Yojana, you know, trying to give financial assistance to the Redi Patri Walas, perhaps one of the most unsecured segments of the population. Then we have schemes like Ujjwala and Mudra. These are all aimed at empowering those people who need financial and social safeguards and empowerment, but it is not being done looking at their castes. It is done looking at their financial and social deprivation. Do you think this model is showing better results than just focusing on quotas?
Now, my view has always been there that quota has become a political tool to consolidate votes. First thing is very clear, because government institutions are limited. In higher education, there are very limited government institutions. There are very limited government jobs. So that's a fact altogether. So my point is this, that you just mentioned different schemes run by the central government. I will add to it that Vishwakarma Yojana, which has recently been launched this year. So everywhere financial assistance is given without a collateral, and that assistance is always for downtrodden, poor, and all deprived section of the society. So every time, if you want to elevate situation at the ground at a large scale, you need to bring in such kind of schemes, and plus you have to build infrastructure. Now, as far as the infrastructure in Bihar is concerned, if you travel in Bihar, at least central sector roads are very fine there. Now the problem, like even rural roads have become very nice these days. So roads are being built there. Point is this, that you need to create an environment, where investment can come. The private investment can come only when you provide them the right kind of environment, right kind of infrastructure, and for this only discussion and talks will not work. So far as
one last question from Dr. Vidyarthi Vikas. Very quickly, Dr. Vikas, we do not have much time. Now that Nitish Kumar has gone ahead and passed in the assembly about the raising the quota, and the opposition BJP also supported the demand, that resolution in the House, do you think similar demands and resolutions are likely in the in various other states of the country, particularly as we are moving towards Lok Sabha elections, sir?
Yeah, definitely it will reverse around the states, across the states in India. Other states will also demand the same thing, and it will be become one of the central agenda in 2024. And one of I want to add that,
yes,
you know, due to increasing inflation, due to Notbandi and due to unplanned GST that destroyed the economy of India, and I calculated that labor force participation rate in 2013-14 was 15.56%. But now it has comes down, and according to CMI report, labor force participation rate is just 40%. If we calculate on this data, sir, you know, 20 to 20 crores youth are unemployed in India.
Yes, but at the same time, this very week, Dr. Vikas, the CMI data also shows a not very encouraging picture of the parameters in Bihar, but I guess that's a larger debate. We will have to do it some other day. Coming back to Mukesh Ranjan, quickly, Mukesh Ranjan, do you think, as Dr. Vidyarthi Vikas is pointing out, this demand for greater quota and caste census will become the issue in the coming days? Or do you think the Prime Minister's parallel narrative, Garib sabse badi jati, poor is the biggest caste, is going to override that demand at a time when people are saying that, there is speculation that there may be an All India survey as well in the coming days?
Now, politically speaking, I see it that this 2024 election is going to be NDA versus India Alliance. That's a fact. So India Alliance will try and drumbeat this quota and caste survey and everything. So they will do this. And the 2024 election I see as an interplay between the two. The Prime Minister claimed that the...
No, but there is one point here, reports from Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, which are in the, electoral process right now, are saying that the caste survey has not really resonated among the voters. They have their own state issues to think about.
True. But when we go for Lok Sabha elections, the state elections has its own kind of issues.
Right.
When we go for Lok Sabha elections, we have two major alliances fighting against each other. Now, narratives would be set. So that's why I'm saying it is going to be an interplay between poor versus caste.
Fine. I get your point.
Either you are with the caste or you are with the poor. And there would be an attempt to basically connect caste with poverty.
Right.
And if that happens, then it needs to be seen that how it plays out in 2024 elections.
Point taken, Mukesh Ranjan, and I must thank you for putting it so clearly for us. Certainly, it will have to be seen. How much of an electoral issue it becomes is certainly the opposition will try to make it the issue in their campaign in the build-up to the Lok Sabha elections. But the government has a very strong narrative on its part by emphasizing on the fact that while the society, there are all castes in societies and there is an effort to empower them, poor remain the biggest caste, and without empowerment of the poor has to be regardless of their caste and community identities, because till the poor are empowered, real democracy cannot percolate down to the last person in the queue. But on that note, I must thank Dr. Vidyarthi Vikas for connecting to us with Patna. We will get back to you, sir, on similar issues in the coming days. Thank you for joining. And Mukesh Ranjan, so nice of you to connect to us and explain all those issues despite your being, indisposed. I am thankful to you for that. Thank you again.
Thank you. Smita, I'll add one point. Add one point. Because every caste has its own poor population.
Right.
So
point taken.
You cannot say that the entire OBC is poor, entire ST is poor, entire SC is poor. Even among forwards, there are, even the Bihar census, caste census data shows that there are poor among the forward castes.
Fine, and that is where we started the debate. So that point is well taken, and let us see how it goes. Thank you, Mukesh Ranjan.
Thanks, Smita ji.
While all our guests and experts are agreed on one point, that reservation, quotas are one of the strongest measures for affirmative action to empower the deprived segments of the society, it is also a fact that quota has a limited influence, because unless it is supplemented with enough infrastructure development which will push economic activity and growth, that itself cannot change the future or the fate of a state, as demonstrated by the Socio-Economic Survey of Bihar. On that note, viewers, it's a wrap-up on Media Scan for this weekend. We will connect with you again next weekend, but meanwhile, have a great festival. Happy Deepavali. Namaskar.